All right. Moving on to bonus incentives. Bonus incentives, Charlie Munger, if you're not familiar with who he is, he's Warren Buffett's business partner. He understands the power of incentives more than anybody else that you would know. He says that he is probably in the top 5% of his age cohort all his life that understood the power of incentives, and yet all his life he continued to underestimate the power of incentives. This is number two, the bonus incentive. The bonus incentive does not need to be cash. Cash actually does not nearly work as well because the idea behind the bonus incentive is that it's completely wrapped in emotion. Emotion, it helps you tip the emotional scale in your favor when negotiating. Back when they were doing tons of infomercials, yeah, infomercial or QVC, they realized that there's 30% of people that were going to buy that did so immediately. As soon as they got on and started showing, demonstrating the product, people were like, oh my God, I need that. And about 30% of the people bought. They knew that about 30% of the people would never buy, but there was this middle portion of people that would always tip the scales for them. And so that they would sit on the infomercial the entire time. So you'd have 30% buy, 30% fall off, and then this other 30% that would sit and watch the entire infomercial through the end. And they're wondering, what's it going to take to get that last 30% to actually buy this product? And so they started adding in bonus incentives. Now they've tried a lot of different bonus incentives, and what they have found is that the incentive that solves an added problem or solves a same problem, or in a lot of cases solves the exact same problem, is the type of incentive that's going to win the customer over in your favor. And so what they began doing is simply doubling. Hey, I'm going to give you 2 of these. I'm going to give you 3 of these. I'm going to give you 4 of these, all for the same price. And you will wait until the very, very end to see that because all the people up front don't need that when they're initially buying. So they build up all this perceived value. It's so awesome. And then at the end, you'll see those bonus incentives get to roll out. If you're a member of the ClickFunnels community, this is one of the biggest ideas that they profess in all of their marketing when they're trying to train people and such, is that they go on to say upsell, 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 add in these bonus incentives. You want to pack in tons of value and then give bonus, 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 bonus in order to get the sale. And in a lot of ways that they're right. So bonus incentives are there in order to tilt the emotional scale in your favor. One of Charlie Munger's quotes was, show me the incentive and I will show you the outcome. Okay, so how do we increase perceived value? Yes, bonus incentive is a way to do that because you can immediately say, it's a value of $40, but I'm going to give it to you for 20. When the customer believes the value is tilted in their favor, they will buy. So what we want to do is we want to be able to increase the perceived value. This doesn't matter if you're doing your posting on Facebook or if you're on the phone with them or if it's just in your program. You want to always be adding in items in order to increase perceived value. And those items do not have to be tangible. Stories, remember, are the best ways to increase perceived value. The second best way to increase perceived value are contrast buys. You'll see this happen a lot where people will come out and say, you could buy my product, get this amazing newsletter for the same price, and you'll get it every single day, all month, for the same price as 1 cup of coffee. And it's a comparative thing for people, as they'll go out and they'll just buy a cup of coffee because they naturally know the value of that. Another way of doing contrast buy, so Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion, right? However, you put that in contrast, for $10 billion, they could have given the entire world clean water, right? That's a major perspective thing for you. So it's like you see the value that they put on WhatsApp in comparison. You need to be doing things like this. Retails for $39.99, but now for $19.99. A lot of things that you'll see in the ClickFunnels community is that they'll say charge 10% of what you've built up the value to be. But you cannot build up that value with just a dollar amount. You can't just come out and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you free phone calls with me, valued at $97." A better way to do that is to tell a story behind it and say, if you were to hire me, I would charge you $97 an hour, but I'm going to give you an hour of my time for free. Or I'm going to add in an hour of my time to this program, yada, yada. So tell the story behind it, give the what and the how, give the why behind it, and build up that perceived value. Number 3, reward or potential reward builds up the value. Just like we were doing with our pricing our own courses or our own programs, we were saying, what would you pay if I'm going to help you find the love mate, the spouse of your life, and you're going to go on to build a family and have kids, and I can do that for you today. Think about how far ahead you would be. Think about if you didn't find your spouse for another 10 years. How much would you pay to roll back the clock and get that now so that you can begin having children? What happens if you miss your biological clock and you're not able to start having children until you're in your 40s or 50s? How much does that cost you? So you're telling this story of the reward that they're going to get today, that spouse, that family, that change of life, and it's that story which adds the perceived value to your program. Whereas if you're just selling DVDs with video on them, they typically retail for about $19. Do you see the difference? The DVDs are able to help you get a family and a child versus a manufactured DVD that took me 4 hours to create, right? So tell the story of the desires and the benefits. Remember that that the stories that we're telling in our brand scripts start with the customer, the character. They are in their hell right now and they want to get to their heaven. So if you can build up this heaven, if you can outline and show them what it is and help them future cast living in that heaven, they'll be able to emotionally attach their heaven to your product. Okay, number 4, giving it a value. Straight up giving it a value. If you don't give it a value, it doesn't have a value. You need to come out and say the manufacturer's suggested retail price is what? However, you're going to get it for this lower amount. So you've just told a story, and you've just given it a value, and then you've rolled it back. This is the number one thing that is used in every retail store that you walk into. You go in there and it shows you the price tag and it's crossed out, and below it is the real price. On every e-commerce store, every program that you buy into, it will have that same feature and functionality of being able to add in a suggested price and then the actual price. So give it a value. Oh, and here's another little trick. If you get a specific value onto the item, it works much better than if you give it a flat rate value. So $32.95 or $32.35 is going to be less negotiated and balked at than $3,200. If you're selling your house and you list your house for down to the dollars instead of stopping at the thousands, people are less likely to negotiate with you because they believe that there's more real value associated than perceived value. What would it cost to hire you for 3 months? You've just created your 3-month program. If you were going to give one-on-one service to each of these individuals and do the work for them, what would you charge? Okay, number 5, social proof. This is a very age-old problem. It's exactly why bars will hold up a line outside, clubs, dance clubs, whatever, will create a fake line outside. They'll stop people, prevent them from coming into the bar for hours, and you sit in line outside for hours doing nothing. You walk by, you see 3 bars, 2 have no line, 1 has a line. Where do you think you're going to go? You're going to go where everybody else is going. If you walk into a bar and nobody's in there, you turn around and walk back out. And they know that. So what do early in the night? They create this fake line to make everybody believe, hey, everybody's going there first. You get inside, there's 4 or 5 people in there, and you don't leave because you just had to wait in a line for an hour and you don't want to have to do it again, right? So it's this social proof, same reason why you'll see an empty restaurant and a full restaurant, and you'll go wait in line at the full restaurant when you could have gone right in and gotten served at the other one. You have no idea what the food's like in either, but you choose the restaurant where everybody else is going because it must be good. Number 6, scarcity. This is exactly how one of the tactics that was used in those Air Jordan Silver shoes. They only created 100 of them in order to create that scarcity. It's exactly the one item that every collector collects based on. They don't collect the items that are mass production. They collect the broken ones, the misruns, the misstamped, misminted coins, the ones that are unique, are one of a kind, are scarce. You can't find them. There's 10 in the world, right? It's scarcity that drives the entire collectible industry. Number 7, celebrity association. You see this happening on commercials all the time, where these celebrities will come in and they'll bring in a celebrity, and the celebrity will tell the story. So the product then ends up getting the celebrities association. Now, this works in a way of because the celebrity already has a following, they already have an audience. The product is actually using that celebrity's audience. They already have a ton of people that like them. And when the celebrity comes on board and endorses the product, that endorsement is huge in the online advertising space. I was working for a company selling pain relief supplement products. It was turmeric and a few other things, right? Nothing unique. And what they found is that they would do radio advertising because that's where their audience is. And they would get they would buy so much advertising in order to strike a deal with the radio host in order to get endorsed. And they wanted the endorsement of that radio host because it is his following that's listening to that program at that time. And they lived and died by the endorsement. They could not get SEO to work for them whatsoever. They could not get Facebook ads to work for them. They just didn't convert. But whenever they got an endorsement, the sales were 5-6% conversion rate versus the 0.5% conversion rate without the endorsement. So that celebrity association, the more of that you can get, it's like social proof on steroids. Okay, 8, exclusivity. I think Studio 51, you've probably heard that name. You may not even know any idea what it is. It was a private club back in the 70s down in Hollywood, where all the celebrities, well, not all of them, few celebrities would be able to get in. However, the entire world knew about Studio 51. They didn't have to advertise like that, but they did in order to advertise its exclusivity, in order for the people that actually went there to feel like they were getting into something that was celebrity status, but very, very, very exclusive. If it had not been known, that exclusivity would not have worked nearly as well. So the more celebrity status something has, the bigger effect the exclusivity has. It's the smaller number of people that actually get in. And number 9, challenge-based stimulation. I'm going to skip over a couple other of these, but 10 is the halo effect. If it's looking good, it has more value. Number 11, naming the thing. We did this back when we were creating our programs, an intellectual proprietary name. And 12 is the bonus incentive. So those are 12 ways to increase perceived value. And those are the items we're actually going to go through in depth, more of those items under the agents of influence.